Mamata Banerjee, hours before polling in Nandigram, very crucial make or break battle both for the BJP and for Mamata Banerjee's Trinamool Congress, said her Gotra was Shandilya. Now, Giriraj Singh of the Bharatiya Janata Party, Union Minister for Fisheries, he hit back and said, if you're a Shandilya Gotra Brahman, then why were those who follow the same religion, are from the same Gotra, have trouble with Durga Visarjan in Bengal? Why was Ram Navami attacked? Why did Didi have problems with Jai Shri Ram slogans? The TMC, of course, calls this Didi's masterstroke.
ঠাকুর মশাই ঠাকুর মন্দিরের ছবি নিয়ে দাঁড়িয়েছিলেন, পুজো নিয়ে দাঁড়িয়েছিলেন। তো আমাকে জিজ্ঞেস করছিলেন, মা তোমার গোত্রটা বলবে? আমি বলে ফেলেছিলাম মা মাটি মানুষ গোত্র। আজকেও তিনি যখন আমায় জিজ্ঞেস করলেন, আমি বললাম দেখুন আমার তো একটা পার্সোনাল গোত্র আছে, সেটা সান্ডিল্য, কিন্তু আমি মনে করি আমার গোত্র মা মাটি মানুষ গোত্র। আমার পুজোয় যদি মানুষের ভালো হয় সেই পুজোটাই আমি দিই।
Mamata Banerjee ending her Nandigram campaign by playing the Gotra card, declaring that she is a Shandilya. As the curtains fell on the final leg of a bruising battle in her Karm Bhumi, where she is pitted in a high-octane battle against her former confidant Shubhendu Adhikari, Mamata triggered a fresh flashpoint by this Gotra sign-off.
আজকেও তিনি যখন আমায় জিজ্ঞেস করলেন, আমি বললাম দেখুন আমার তো একটা পার্সোনাল গোত্র আছে, সেটা সান্ডিল্য।
From Maa Maati Manush all the way to explicitly declaring her lineage in Hindu culture, what compelled this unusual move from Didi? First off, the answer may lie in some of the reactions that have already come in. First, from AIMIM chief Asaduddin Owaisi.
She's practicing same politics of communalism which is being practiced by Narendra Modi and BJP. I don't find any difference between what she's saying in this election and in her own election campaign and what BJP is doing. So Mamata Banerjee and Narendra Modi are made for each other.
Owaisi's barb likens Mamata to Rahul Gandhi, who famously had his team declare that he is a Janeudhari Hindu back in 2017. But Didi is also under attack from her primary challenger.
मोदी जी के डर से आपने गोत्र तो बता दिया, लेकिन आज तक आपने सांडिल गोत्र वालों को इतना तंग और तबाह क्यों किया? जब प्रथम चरण में उनकी जमीन खिसक गई तब उनको समझ में।
Mamata's Gotra declaration is the soaring climax to a steady script she's been playing to on the political battlefield to counter the BJP's Hindu nationalist politics. It began with her declaration of being a Durga Bhakt.
राम किसको पूजा किया था? दुर्गा पूजा किया था। हम दुर्गा पूजा करते हैं।
Then she chanted mantras from the Nandigram stage. Then she went on a non-stop temple hop. Then she declared her Hinduism once again explicitly.
I am also a Hindu. I will not take certificate from BJP that I am Hindu A or I am Hindu B or I am Hindu C or I am Hindu D or I am Hindu Z. I am Hindu, I am also Hindu.
Then she stood up from her wheelchair for the national anthem. And now finally the declaration of her Gotra.
আজকেও তিনি যখন আমায় জিজ্ঞেস করলেন, আমি বললাম দেখুন আমার তো একটা পার্সোনাল গোত্র আছে, সেটা সান্ডিল্য।
The battlefield is set. All weapons have been fired. Nandigram goes to the vote on Thursday. But Mamata's message will also be for the 6 phases that follow. With Polami Saha in Nandigram, Bureau Report, India Today.
So 8 hours, 52 minutes and 49 seconds left for that big battle of Nandigram. But before that, why this big shift? Or is that big shift, this is just that last assault in that big shift? Had that big shift already happened in the run-up to the 2021 elections? Joining me is Dr. Fuad Halim of the CPIM. He is their candidate from Baliganj in Bengal. Riju Datta represents the Trinamool Congress and Dr. Nikhil Prasoon represents the Bharatiya Janata Party. Before I bring in our guests, let's take a look at the attacks and the counter-attacks just before that crucial battle of Nandigram and the second phase of elections in Bengal.
The stage is set for the biggest battle. It is a make or break fight for Bengal ki beti and Nandigram ka beta. West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee will be camping in her Karma Bhumi on April 1st as the district casts its vote in the second phase of polling. With only hours left for voting, Didi lashed out at her rivals, alleging bid to target the elections.
Yes, yesterday night, the outsiders goons, they threatened the people, especially Gokul Nagar, then Ball, and then there are some areas in Balapur and other areas. But we are already taking up the matter with the election commission. Let us hope that Nandigram must be allowed for free and fair election.
The BJP is upbeat. It claims Mamata is losing her ground.
सर्वेंदु दादा जीतेंगे, ममता जी का हार निश्चित है, एक तरफा फैसला है, नंदीग्राम की जनता ने सर्वेंदु जी को चुनना तय कर लिया है.
Nandigram over the past few days witnessed a stunning blitz as big guns from both parties hit the streets to woo voters. Of all the seats in Bengal, this is the one seat the whole nation has its eyes on. There is high security in the area. 22 companies of central forces, 22 quick response teams, and 3 observers are deployed. The whole show will be run and monitored from 10 sector offices. Webcams are installed in 75% of the 355 sensitive polling stations. On Thursday, the people of Nandigram will choose between Mamata Banerjee and her former general, Suvendu Adhikari. Will it be Didi or Dada for Nandigram?
Clearly, the Election Commission does not want to leave any stone unturned to make this a peaceful election. The big question, of course, is, will the elections at Nandigram be incident-free? With camera person Tapas Baidi in Nandigram, Indrajit for India Today.
But is it now completely polarized? Remember, Suvendu Adhikari had been talking about 70% versus 30%. And Riju Datta, BJP says that Didi is now playing on the same pitch. 70% versus 30%. Didi realizes that 30% cannot get her elected to power, so she's now appealing to the 70%, playing on the BJP's pitch, admitting, according to the BJP, that she's lost elections.
Gotra, first of all, very good evening, and I want to say some pertinent things here, so allow me that time. You know, from the day BJP started campaigning in Bengal, their only and only narrative was to brand Mamata Banerjee as anti-Hindu. So what happened? Mamata Banerjee went to rally after rally. She recited the Chandi mantra and the Durga mantra, and in the same breath, she recited the holy kalma. And she has affirmed that Allah and Ishwar is one. So she has basically beaten them at their own game. Secondly, you know, BJP has no agenda. They have no face of politics in Bengal, and they have only the religion card. When you ask them question about development or good governance or jobs or inflation, they have no answers. So they have the religion card now, and they do not have that now. That is why they are so rattled around. Sabko mirchi lag gaya hai. I do not understand what is this big ruckus if somebody casually says, and if you decipher her statement, she said, my Gotra is Maa Maati Manush. But if somebody asks me what my personal Gotra is, it is Chandelier. I don't know what is this ruckus trying to distract the narrative from the development or good governance and all the other pertinent issues regarding polarization. When Suvendu talks about Begum Mamata Banerjee, Suvendu talks about Kashmir as Nandigram, Suvendu talks about Pakistan. Why are we not talking about that?
Sir, respond, sir. Prasoon, Dr. Prasoon, respond when Mamata Banerjee, when the TMC says that Mamata Banerjee has actually defeated the BJP in its own game. It's a masterstroke. She recites the Kalma and she recites the Chandipath.
Namaskar. I think the West Bengal elections are going to be the watershed elections in the history of India for more than one reasons. One of the reasons being the fact that this is going to prove to be a death knell for the politics of appeasement that has been the basis of the politics of opposition parties throughout the country. And so far as this particular incident is concerned, I would like to emphasize that our chief minister has lost her direction. That the way she has been behaving for last 4 or 5 days, the body language is indicative of the fact that she has lost the plot. And more so ever, she does not have anything substantial to show as a report card. Now, one does not become a Chandelier Brahmin simply, by dint of his or her own birth. According to the basic tenets of Sanatana Dharma, a Brahmin is known by his or her karma. After that, it got, a title of inheritance later on. So it has to be substantiated by
the question that Riju Datta asked Dr. Prasoon is, why is the BJP jumping up and down the moment she says, I'm Chandelier Gotra? Why is the BJP on the back foot? Is she, according to the BJP, she has her 30%, she's reaching out to the 70%. So she's actually trying to unite both and move forward. Does that put you on the back foot?
She is in a desperate spree to offload the baggage of appeasement politics that she has been carrying out for last a decade or so. So now that is in the process of getting boomeranged. It has been there since last Panchayat elections. Now, the way she colluded with the, Ghuspatiyas and all those infiltrators, the way she got them assimilated in the society by distributing them ration cards and all that, the way they, even cheated minorities by, this politics of symbolism is indicative of the fact that she has lost the plot. She does not have any fixed strategy. Now, she's at one point of time...
Let me get Dr. Fuad Halim to weigh in on this. Dr. Fuad Halim, you're watching this. You're also a part of this election, battle in Bengal. How do you look at it, Dr. Fuad Halim? Is this Mamata Banerjee turning hard right after what happened in the Lok Sabha elections, sir?
Well, it was very clear that the right wing is going to influence Mamata Banerjee. She was born in the lap of the right wing. You have to understand that Mamata Banerjee has said Jai Shri Ram for 9 years of her political life here in West Bengal and gone through the streets of West Bengal and the lanes of West Bengal saying vote for the Bharatiya Janata Party and Bharatiya Janata Party is in the path. Vice versa. Every Bharatiya Janata Party leader worth its salt in West Bengal has always uttered the slogan TMC Zindabad and Mamata Banerjee Zindabad, vote for Mamata Banerjee. They did it for 9 long years together. So there's not much of a difference. In fact, it's a very interesting what you call Mili Bhagat between the TMC and the BJP to keep the people of West Bengal away from the core issues. Now, 7.5 lakh government jobs are vacant. Now, if the Bharatiya Janata Party actually wanted to make a concrete pitch on concrete issues, it would take a stand on the 7.5 lakh vacant government jobs. It is silent on that. On the question of what you call price rise that is impacting the lives of the people of West Bengal on a daily basis, we have from the Sanjukta Morcha said we are going to reduce the state share of the taxes in the gas, petrol and diesel conundrum. So thirdly, we are saying we are going to provide 200 units of electricity free to every household. Now, these are concrete issues. Nandigram, you have to understand, there's a large population of migrant laborers who've been totally dissatisfied, disenchanted with Narendra Modi's handling of COVID, and also the state government where Mamata Banerjee had accused them of trying to import, being the vehicles of bringing corona into West Bengal. She had called them part of the Corona Express. So one has to be very clear. This large migrant population, their issues are not being addressed by either the BJP or the TMC. They are interested on peripheral issues. Chandipat and talking of the Kalma and all these what you call projections are not going to impact the lives of the people of West Bengal on a concrete day-to-day basis.
Out of West Bengal.
Or will it not? Because... Dr. Prasoon wants to respond to you. Respond, Dr. Prasoon.
There was mass exodus of wealth and capital away from West Bengal. There is a history. Now you have got blood on your hand. What happened to Namsudra Dalits in Marit Jhapi, Sundarban? What happened after Ashok Kumar Naik, one of the leading industrialists of those times?
You tell me, Shishir Adhikari, which party does he belong to? Is he a member of the TMC? Is he a member of the BJP? Can you clarify?
So today we restrict ourselves to the issue at hand. We restrict ourselves to the issue at hand. And this is why Riju Datta, Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi says Mamata Banerjee is just a Chunavi Hindu. You know, when she comes out, she will do the Chandi path, she'll have the tilak, but inside the room it's the topi. This is only for votes because of the electoral battle in Nandigram. Of the 3,37,000 odd voters, 70% are Hindus, 30% are Muslims. So she's trying to reach out to the Hindu voter, realizing that Shubhendu Adhikari has in a big way said that this is a vote where outsiders will be dealt with accordingly.
Gaurav, it is very rich coming from Mr. Naqvi, all these statements, when, you know, all they have done is a divisive politics and communal politics in Bengal. And, you know, when he talks about appeasement politics, let me also ask you and ask all our viewers, this is the only state where you get free ration, free education, free healthcare, and all the social welfare schemes are given to every resident of the state. Is it given on basis of surnames, or is it given basis on their caste of color? No, sir, we do not. And neither this country is so radicalized that for somebody who is born into the faith of Hinduism has to get a certificate from BJP or RSS for going to a temple or practicing their religion or reciting Chandi path. The country has not gone into such depths of radicalism yet, even though BJP is trying very hard for it. And I just want to answer my dear Dr. Falin here that, sir, when you say all these things, let me tell you, after the BJP's campaign is over in Bengal, I will only say this, that the far left and the far right have much in common. And your party, the day I also supported you, but you obviously do not represent the entire Communist Party. And the day your party sided with ISF and sided with the Congress, you are no more idealistic. You are also in this Chunavi matter. And when Naqvi said that we are Chunavi Hindus, sir, we are Hindus by birth. At least we don't do Chunavi jumlas like you and feed lies to the people of this country and divide them on basis of caste, creed and color. We do inclusive politics, and it is an article of faith for us.
The discriminatory
Dr. Prasoon,
policies and program. Yeah. The discriminatory
one by one. Dr. Prasoon, hold on. Dr. Prasoon, the Trinamool Congress has also said that Mamata Banerjee is not appealing to only one section of the society. She is appealing to all sections of the society, which is what a leader must do. She is very different from the divisive politics, as they allege, that the BJP is following, not just in Nandigram, but across Bengal.
No, actually, the policy of discrimination got reflected in the official policies of the government. It was not a cliche or rhetoric to start with. Now, for example, the doles, the stipends were given to muezzins, and after it was struck down by the High Court, it was given indirectly through Waqf board, etc. You know, in the rural hinterland, even in the urban centers, the FIRs of majority communities are not generally accepted by the police. Everyone knows who happens to be in West Bengal. For example, in the bylanes of Kolkata, those who are, riding the bikes without helmets, those who belong to, one particular community, they are, not dealt with strictly. So this is a common kind of a thing that's going on. The discrimination is there in the air. Now, had it resulted in upliftment of the minorities, then one could have, claimed that particular kind of thing. But that has led to complete chaos in them. They have been cheated like this. And the fundamental elements in minorities, they are usually encouraged. That's why we get sleeper cells of IS, JMB, the violent protest on, the railway passengers in places like Uluberia, the bomb blast in Khagragarh, the dangas in Dhulogarh and Bashira.
Appeasement. So you're accusing Mamata Banerjee of appeasement, and that's the taint, Riju Datta, that Mamata Banerjee is trying to fight, because the BJP big guns came out, all guns blazing today, with Giriraj Singh, for example, saying that if she's a Shandilya Gotra Brahman, why would she stop Durga Puja Visarjan, and why would Hindus have to go to court for Durga Puja Visarjan? Or why would she get angry with the Jai Shri Ram slogan? Or why would she attack a Ram Navami, her police attack Ram Navami processions? All of this shows she was into minority politics, minority appeasement, but 2019 elections has made her change her stance.
See, Gaurav, I have been hearing this word appeasement from day one BJP started campaigning. I am saying today on your channel, yes, we do appeasement. We do appeasement of women, we do appeasement of farmers, we do appeasement of the middle class, which is being decimated by this national party, and we do inclusive politics of all the minorities. All the minorities have been, communities have been included in the OBC list. Scholarships have been given to them. Universities have been made by them. What has BJP done? Tell me one thing in the last 7 years, apart from jumlas and fake promises of 2 crore jobs, petrol at 100, gas at 950. What has they done for the benefit of this country? Anything happens, they will show their finger at Pakistan or China. What are you doing for the people who are residing in this country? They talk about CAA. They lie to people in Bengal about
Dr.
CAA.
Fuad
But
Halim.
in their Assam manifesto, there is no CAA. So they are nothing but bunch of lies.
Dr.
And their
Fuad Halim,
ideology is lie,
Merit
lie,
and
lie.
Asaduddin Owaisi saying that this is competitive majoritarian politics for the upper caste Brahmin votes, and Asaduddin Owaisi says, what about people like us who are neither Shandilya Gotra nor Janeyudhari Brahmins? The Muslims and the Dalits, are they being ignored? Is there merit in that criticism, sir?
Well, it's very clear that there has been an RSSization of the Trinamool Congress, which is going over a long period of time. You have to understand, when Subhendu Adhikari joined the Bharatiya Janata Party, that day he clearly said that in 2011 and 2009, when the anti-left vote was consolidating, the RSS and the BJP supported the Trinamool Congress, even though they were not on an official, what you call, front together. One has to continue that understanding, which is exposed by the fact that the Trinamool manifesto doesn't have a minority section for the first time in West Bengal in the recent elections that they have contested. They have totally removed the minority section from their election manifesto. You have to also understand that from 57 candidates that the Trinamool Congress had nominated from the minority community in 2016, they have reduced that to 42 under pressure from the RSS. But it is clearly indicative that the Trinamool Congress has given ideological space, has allowed the Bharatiya Janata Party and the RSS to grow in West Bengal in return for certain favors which the Trinamool Congress leadership is enjoying. As I said earlier, the Trinamool Congress has 2 MPs who have criticized Mamata Banerjee, and they have categorically said that they are going to work to defeat Mamata Banerjee and the TMC in West Bengal. And the TMC has not shown the courage to expel them from their party. They still continue to be Lok Sabha members of the Trinamool Congress as of today, as we speak. So that is the degree of compromise.
Riju Datta, respond.
See, first of all,
it is the hard right turn post-2019 elections, as is being alleged, that Mamata Banerjee has been forced to take, and just before Nandigram, it's becoming very apparent, sir.
See, the bottom line, again, I will say, the moral of the story is Mamata Banerjee has brought the 2 faiths together, which BJP has tried very hard to divide and conquer. That is the Hindus and the Muslims.
Okay.
And this is where they have a problem, because they cannot fight with Mamata Banerjee on topics of development or good governance. So they only had the polarization card.
If this is what Mamata Banerjee has done, as you say, sir, as you say, how do you explain your party MP and leader Mahua Moitra's tweet where she said Union Minister Giriraj says Mamata is from Rohingya clan, proud of it, far better than being from the Chotiwala Rakshas clan. What is the Chotiwala Rakshas clan, Riju Datta?
See, that is up for interpretation, and the best person to answer this is Mahua Moitra herself. But I will also add something here, that when you call certain people ghuspats, like the BJP spokesperson just said, when you call certain people termites, and then you go to their country to appease them, and then you go to their country to patronize Bengal elections and appease a certain community, what is that then, sir? That also needs to be asked, right?
Diplomatic relations which are required to be discharged. It does not.
Diplomatic relations, right?
So are you going to?
Right.
No, but
do you sir,
respond? If you Dr. Prasoon, Dr. Nikhil Prasoon, why equate? Why should Shandilya Giriraj Singh? Why should Giriraj Singh equate or ask whether Rohingyas are also of the Shandilya growth? Why bring in the Rohingyas in conversation when you're talking about Mamata Banerjee? Is that not again a desperate attempt to polarize, sir? Just before Nandigram polls.
Because they have been facilitated to get themselves assimilated in the society. They have been provided all voter cards and all those ration cards and all. And genuine voters, they have been bereaved of their genuine rights. The employment.
Gaurav, 10 seconds, Gaurav, 10 seconds. One question.
Okay.
One question to Nikhilji.
Sure.
Gaurav, you have traveled.
As soon as Dr. Prasoon finishes, I'm coming to you.
Yes, loggerhead
One by one, sir.
Such a long time, there has not been any other state government who has had such an antagonistic relation with the central. For example, in Jal Jeevan Mission, 1900 crores, only 400 crores utilized. 1000 crore was given in Amphan, that was misutilized. There was Bandarbat. And again, this Ayushman Bharat Yojana, when the central government was ready to bear 2/3 of the fund, you declined to have it. Now again, 8,400 crores of fund given for the farmers. They were declined to get incorporated in their accounts. So you have been jealous, you have been apprehensive of the fact that the central and Modi...
Those are the issues, raise those issues. Why bring in the Rohingyas? Riju Datta, you wanted to respond? Last 30 seconds,
yes.
sir.
Last 30 seconds. Only one question to Dr. Nikhil Prasoon. When they talk about Ghuspetiyas and Rohingyas, Gaurav, I know you as a patriot has, traveled to the top level frontiers of this country and covering the China thing. So we believe and we have 100% trust in the DGs and the army generals. Now, I will say something on record. In 2019, the DG of CISF, Asthana, said there are 1,311 infiltrators from Bangladesh to Bengal, and we have caught hold of every single one of them. And his final report, he said there is no infiltration from Bangladesh into West Bengal. So is BJP asking a question on the Indian Army and on DG Asthana? Let me, Dr. Prasoon, answer that.
Out of 4,500 incidents of infiltration, 4,000 FIRs were lodged. Only 212 people got convicted, and local police is responsible for the conviction.
Where you lodge, it doesn't matter. Are you challenging the report of DG Asthana? Just say that on national.
Okay, one by one, gentlemen.
With them.
Dr. Prasoon, finish your point.
Well, actually, the main thing is that once the infiltrators, they enter, the BSF catches them, they hand it over to the local police. The conviction, everything has to be executed by them. So out of 2,126 kilometers area, the 60 kilometer this fencing that was to be done, the Bhumi Adhigrahan, the land acquisition, has not yet been executed because of non-cooperation of the government.
BSF is lying and
Dr. Fuad Halim, what do you make of the letter that Mamata Banerjee has written to 15 opposition leaders today? When you see Mamata Banerjee's Padyatra on a wheelchair, when you hear of her Gotra Shandilya, when you see this letter written to opposition leaders, what do you make of it as somebody who's from the state, somebody who's contesting elections, of course somebody who's from an opposition party, sir?
Well, I'll answer that question, but my first response would be that the Bharatiya Janata Party on the question of NRC and CAA has abandoned this issue in Assam, which was their test, case. So one has to understand that the Bharatiya Janata Party is as opportunistic as the Trinamool Congress on this issue. And they, from state to state and time to time, they vary their position on their commitment to the NRC CA issue, and they play with fire on this issue. The second question that you raised, it's very clear that Mamata Banerjee has written this letter out of desperation. She is actually coming to the conclusion that the Trinamool Congress is imploding here in West Bengal. You got several senior leaders speaking in different tones. There is a large portion of the Trinamool Congress that has already been hived off by the Bharatiya Janata Party. There is a large number of Trinamool people who have been nominated. In fact, there is one nomination that Mamata Banerjee had given, and that lady rejected Mamata Banerjee's nomination even after her name was declared and jumped over the Bharatiya Janata Party. One nominee of the Trinamool Congress filed his nomination paper in such a way that it got rejected by the Election Commission, and the Bharatiya Janata Party has a free play in that constituency. You have another incident where a BJP candidate is asked which party you're standing from, and the candidate says that I'm standing from the Trinamool Congress Party. So this is the degree of compliance that the BJP and the Trinamool has established amongst itself. In this context, Mamata Banerjee is seriously on the back foot. Mamata Banerjee is
you're saying she's on the back foot. The bigger point you're making, sir, is that TMC, according to you, according to Dr. Fuad Halim of the CPIM, is imploding. Riju Datta, you want to quickly respond to that? I have 30 seconds on the show as of now.
TMC is winning Bengal, Mamata Banerjee is winning Nandigram, and she's winning big. Now, with all due respect to CPIM and the third Gathbandhan, and I believe that if they get a little portion of their vote share back, which they lost in 2019, where all the Bams have become the new Rams, they will, they will take the sleep away from BJP. But saying that, with all due respect, it's a battle between TMC and BJP, and the third frontier is nowhere to be seen. So even though I respect what you said, Dr. Halim, it is of no concern when it comes to electoral votes. And regarding TMC imploding, the asymptomatic ones, we have chucked them out. The symptomatic ones have left on their own. So our party ka to shuddhikaran ho gaya. And Mamata Banerjee is standing as tall as a banyan tree, and in different seasons, some leaves fall. What matters? The tree stands tall.
Last 5 seconds.
8 hours, 26 minutes to go. 26 minutes to go. Okay, Dr. Fuad Halim has raised his hands, and so has Dr. Prasoon. But quick 30 seconds to both. Dr. Prasoon, you go first, and then Dr. Fuad Halim concludes.
No, I will just finish in 10 seconds. আমি শুধু একটাই কথা বলতে চাই, দিদি আপনার রিপোর্ট কার্ডটা কোথায়? রিপোর্ট কার্ডটা দিন অন্তত, অনেক হলো কথা, রিপোর্ট কার্ডই নেই তো। রিপোর্ট কার্ডটা দিয়ে দিন, কাজ হয়ে যাবে। ওকে, কারণ কি এরপরে তো
যেটা ছাপানো আছে সেটা স্টাডি ম্যাটেরিয়াল হিসেবে পড়ে নেবেন।
Brilliant.
আরে রিপোর্ট কার্ড তো নেই রে ভাই।
Brilliant. We're all from many languages. We're all from many languages, and Bangla sounds very sweet on air. Where is the report card? If I followed you correctly, is what Dr. Prasoon asked. But quickly, Dr. Fuad Halim, you wanted to make a point, sir.
The reason why I am saying the Trinamool Congress is imploding is because Mamata Banerjee has written a letter to a number of leaders of the Sanjukta Morcha. And on the other hand, day before yesterday, when Subrata Mukherjee on a channel was asked that post-election to stop the BJP, will the Trinamool align with the Sanjukta Morcha, to which he categorically said, no, it is not his opinion. So, the Trinamool Congress on its pitch to actually garnering a post-poll situation in West Bengal is divided, and that division is very clear across to the people of West Bengal. You got a huge BJP sympathetic section in the Trinamool Congress that's waiting for this implosion to jump over. A large portion has already jumped over, and in fact, there's a portion within the TMC, as I said, Shishir Adhikari and Dibyendu Adhikari, who are TMC elected members to the Lok Sabha, who are campaigning against the TMC, and the TMC, Mamata Banerjee, doesn't have the courage to show them the door. So the TMC is definitely imploding here in West Bengal.
The ball is up in the air. Remains to be seen what happens. We'll be reporting this story from ground zero tomorrow, and of course through the other phases till the results on the 2nd of May. As always, a pleasure having you, Dr. Fuad Halim, Riju Datta and Dr. Prasoon on India First. A quick break at this stage, but don't go anywhere. The big story coming up on the other side. Pakistan, major climb down by Imran Khan. You remember Imran Khan's big rhetoric after the 5th August 2019 when Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh were made into 2 union territories after the abrogation of Article 370? Well, Pakistan has sought sugar and cotton supplies from India. Much more on that story coming up. Stay with us.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.